Photoshop Tutorials, back with another tutorial today. Today we'll be doing or turning into photos into a sort of a cartoon or digital effect on some portrait photos. So it could be a photo of you or a person, and we're going to be converting into a kind of a digital cartoon effect. So first things first, you want to bring in your photo or open your photo in Photoshop. So right now I just have this plain canvas 8x10 in which I've created a new document. So I'm going to bring in this photo of David Beckham here because it's just a lot of distinct features, and the higher the quality of the photo, the easier and the better it is to do this effect. So I'm just going to copy this image, go back to Photoshop and paste it in there using your shortcuts, Command V on Mac and Control V on Windows. I'm just going to make it bigger. And if you want to do perfect adjustments, you should hold Shift and just choose the side you want to go to, and it adjusts it perfectly. So if you hold Shift and diagonal, it moves it perfectly versus this. So I'm just going to make this bigger. Just want it to the size that you want it. And I'm going to center my image. To do that, you want to do on a Mac Command A or on the Windows Control A, which selects the whole canvas, and you just want to hit this part at the top, and that makes it in the center and horizontally, and to do it vertically you just click this one. So these two, and to deselect your whole selection you want to do Command D or Control D on Windows. So now that you have your image in here, you should make whatever adjustments to this image first. So if you want to make it brighter or more contrast, or apply one of the filter effects, I'm actually going to use this contrast because it brings out more definition in this photo. Do so to the original image before we start doing this effect. So now you made any adjustment that you want to the image, we're going to create a new layer by hitting this button in the bottom right, and we're going to kind of sort of outline our image with the pen and vector tool. So let's zoom in to the first part. I'm just going to start down here, and to zoom in you want to hold Alt and scroll with your mouse. So I'm just kind of gonna start right here. And you want to be as accurate as possible. The more accurate you are, the better the image will turn out. And I'll just fast forward this part for you guys. Okay, now I'm going to connect the last 2 points, and once you connect the last 2 points, it makes this kind of path that you have here. So before we do anything else, let's go to our brush tool here on the side, and if it's not here, right click on this place in the toolbar, and it might be on pencil, color replacement, or mixer brush, and just make sure it's selected on brush tool. So now you want to make sure the mode is on normal. The opacity is 100, the flow is 100, the brush size, you want to make sure it is 5 or 6 pixels, whatever is better. Make sure that you can play around with this, but I like to do 5 pixels, and make sure the hardness is at 100. Make sure that your foreground color is on black. Now what you want to do is go back to your pen tool here, and you want to right click on this path, and you want to do stroke path. Now you want to do brush, and you don't want to simulate the pressure. Hit OK. So now what that's done is, once you delete this path, it's created this kind of silhouette, or like this outline of the image we have made. So now this makes it a lot easier to start working on the inner part. So now what we want to do is start working on differentiating the different details in this photo, so in the depths of this photo. So for instance, I want to differentiate the hair from this face part because they're 2 different colors. I want to differentiate the eyebrows from the eyes, etc., etc., so that when I color it in or cartoon it, it's gonna be not all of it's gonna be affected by one color. So let's first start off with this suit here. So I want to differentiate this suit from the rest of the face in the picture. So I'm just gonna go outline this part of the suit, this part of the suit, and stroke it with the brush again. So now that I have differentiated this part of the suit, I'm gonna do the same thing again, except I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. I'm gonna do 4 pixels. Hit OK, and then go back to the pen tool and stroke the path. Hit OK, and then delete the path. And now it's coming along better. So now you want to do that for all sorts of the details in your picture. So I'm just going to fast forward this part, but just make sure that your brush is on 4 pixels and that your color's there and that you differentiate every part. So now I'm going to speed this part for you guys. Alright, after you've done outlining all your shapes and details, you should have something that kind of resembles this. So as you see, I differentiate the hair from the ear, making sure there's an outline between the two, so that when I fill this in with some cartoon color for this hair, it won't affect the ears or the forehead, etc., etc. So as you can see here, I actually did more detail than needed, and it would actually pay off. So like if you do all these wrinkles and these like this shadow right here with an outline, or the shadows here, or the nose, or this line lip here, it'll actually make your cartoon look better. So for instance, if I did all these tattoos or I did the fingernails, it would actually make it better. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I've done the bare minimum. So once you've done your outline, it should look something like, a little like this. You should be able to close off all of the areas that differentiate from one another, that has different depth levels, that have different color levels. So the next step is to fill in your outline cartoon with some color. So we're going to go over here to the paint bucket tool, which is right under the eraser, and if it's not there, right click it. It might be on gradient tool. So if it's on gradient tool, right click it, hit paint bucket tool. Make sure the opacity is down to 50%. So we don't want to fully color this new image, because if we fully color this new image, for instance with this black here, it's just gonna take out the whole effect of this nice depth that we have, this nice details we have with the original image. So we want to do 50% or close to 50. You can choose 60, you can choose 40, whatever floats your boat. But we're going to do 50%, and we're going to do normal and make sure to have the color selected that you want. So if you want to get the color that is already on the photo, you want to hit Alt, and you want to just like play around and click on maybe where the best one is. So I'm just going to choose this one that looks right. And once you have that, make sure your layer 2 is selected, not your original layer, because if you click on the original layer, it's going to do your whole image and mess it all up. So you want to click your outlining layer, and you want to just fill it. So there it kind of fills it in. You can notice the difference, but you can still see there's a little bit of detail in there. So we want to go on this side and do the same. And let's do the bow tie. Sample around. There we go. Let's do the suit. So the suit I know is white, so I can just use this right here. White, 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 white. Or sorry, not the suit, but the dress shirt is white. So you can do all the obvious colors first. So there's the eyes that are white a little bit in these areas. And let's do this face. So this skin tone. So the skin tone is probably the hardest part. You want to sample a lot for the skin tone. So you're gonna be like, so that if you want to remove a selection after you, for instance, put it down or paint it in, you want to hit on a Mac Command Z or on a Windows Control Z to redo the selection, or you can go to this tab right here, which is the history tab, and you can go back and, for instance, if I do this, I can do this and it'll redo my selection or my painting. So I want to just alt and sample around with some colors that until I'm fine with one that I like. Not really liking that one. Okay, there we go. I like this one a lot. So we're going to choose this one and make sure that wherever the skin tone matches, so for instance the ears, I'll have to do that, and for the hands I'll also have to choose that. Make sure, there we go. See, so the more detailed you are with the hands, the better it is. See, like for instance, you can see the fingernails are cut out from this, the tattoos are more faded out, etc., etc. That's why I left the ring in there, to have some detail, so I can maybe get a nice ring in there. If you're not satisfied with the colors you're sampling, you can also just go down here into this little tab here and choose the color that you want. So I kind of want a more goldish color. There we go. And now let's do the hair. So the hair is going to probably be the hardest part because he has two tones. And they all... So since this whole hair is like affected by one doing, I'm actually gonna cut it off here. So if you want to go back to your brush tool, you can go to your brush tool, make sure that black is selected, and I'm actually gonna just see where I notice that the color has changed is around this area. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of that there, and I notice that it changes around the sideburn area here. So I'm just gonna close it off there. And now we have two parts of the hair. So now we have this bottom part here and this top part here. So I'm going to do the bottom part first. There we go, I like that. It also goes around with the mustache. And then the top part's more blondish. It's too blonde. We want to make sure it blends in better. Kind of like that. Too blonde, too blonde. There we go. I'm just going to go with that. That looks nice. You don't lose all the blonde effects, but you have some there. Let's do the eyebrows. There we go. The eyes. This green hazelnut kind of effect. The lips. Make sure you don't forget any aspect of the photo. So make sure you don't forget anything. You can just go here and wherever you see a blank spot. But these are white on purpose, so if it's not white, then it's not there. And there you have it. Your original image was looking like this. You turned it into a cartoon by doing so. And if you can also change the opacity on your other image so that it's more cartoonish or less depth is lost. So for instance, if you look at 100%, there's more depth in this tattoo, or there's more clarity in this tattoo, clarity in the wrinkles here. But if you don't want that, just make the opacity less and you lose part of your depth. To also remove the part of the background of the image, maybe if you don't want, since we've already outlined this image, we can just use our magic wand tool, select outside, and then click on this layer and hit delete. And there you have it, your original image and now your cartoon image. Thank you guys so much for watching this Photoshop tutorial. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below what you guys want to see next.